Okay. Today's going to be more like, we'll call it edutainment. We understand that the Olam is trying to prepare to understand Shomrim, or specifically more Shoyam. So I figured I'll compile a number of stories that happened or could have happened, and we'll share with the Olam, bring it out, and use that as the springboard to be able to bring out the halacha. Case after case, well, it should go. We should move. Each case will spend, 5-10 minutes on the case, and we'll move on to the next case. Stories like this: Reuven Baruch Hashem had a son, and he was making a pigeon haben. And everyone knows that the minute when you make a pigeon haben, you bring in the baby on a silver platter. That's how you bring it in. The baby is all bedecked, sugar and garlic and jewelry all over, and you bring in the baby to the event on a silver platter. Now, a pigeon haben is extremely rare. Extremely rare. It has to be a firstborn, it has to be a son, can't be through a C-section, can't be a Kohen, a Levi, Bas Kohen, Bas Levi. The owners, the fathers of these children obviously don't own these silver trays. So Baruch Hashem, Mikam Israel is what we call a gemach, and there are people who lend out silver trays for pigeon habens. That's how it goes. People lend out everything. You open up Function in Lakewood, you open up the gemach section, there's 75 types of gemach in Lakewood. It's beautiful. So anyway, he borrowed a silver tray, let's call it from Reuven. He borrowed a silver tray from Reuven. He held the event. It was in a restaurant in Lakewood. He had the event, beautiful event. They had a pigeon haben. Everything was great. They had a beautiful suda. And they went home. And then they realized they left the silver tray in the restaurant. Okay, no problem. They ran back to the restaurant, and the silver tray is gone. They lost the silver tray. Now, the silver tray cost thousands upon thousands of dollars. Silver tray is it's a heavy piece, big, heavy, expensive piece. So now the shaila is what to do. So they went to a din Torah. Is he chayiv or not? The father of the bris wanted to the father of the pigeon haben, wanted to taina that maybe he's not chayiv because even though he borrowed the silver tray, he borrowed it for a mitzvah. It wasn't so much meaningful, this din Torah, but that was, while it was going on, a beeper goes off, like a walkie-talkie goes off from the owner of the silver tray, and he lowers the volume, and one of the dayanim asks that person, the owner, and he says, what was that? He says, I'm on Hatzalah. Got it. Were you on Hatzalah? Were you on call at the time when you lent the silver tray? Were you on call then? Makes a cheshbon. Yeah, he was on call because he takes the day shifts. He has different days when he takes. He was on call that day. Fine. The Torah continued. They heard both sides out. And now the Shaila Rabbi says, how would we done this Shaila? How would we take this apart? So before we tell you what the Bezdin Paskin, let's just try to pick it apart ourselves. So the halacha is that a Shaila is chayiv anointin. There are no real excuses for a shayl to be pata, other than maybe what we call mesa machmas malacha, but otherwise a shayl is chayiv for everything. Unlike a shem mechinim is only chayiv for pshia, and the shem mesach is chayiv for gneva v'aveda, but a shayl is chayiv absolute chayiv. He's chayiv for everything. Kol hana shaloi, Chazal said that he's chayiv. It's pasuk, but he's chayiv for everything, no matter what. Even
Balavimo.
Sorry.
Balavimo.
Oh, Balavima. We're going to get to Balavima in a second. 1 second. Not in a second, but in 5 minutes. Give me a few minutes first. Okay. So a shoyl is chayiv for everything, right? So it's chayiv v'intin. So now the shoyl is like this. When he left this thing in the restaurant by accident, of course, he was caught up with the simcha, the joy of having a child, the pinyin haben. Wow, he was so ecstatic that he was able to do this mitzvah, a real mitzvah. Come out, no one does. Very few people do. That's great. Okay. But he got caught up when he left that tray in the restaurant, forgetting the tray there. What is that? So, l'chayra, that is like aveda. He lost an item. That's like gneva v'aveda, where even a shoy mesacha would be chayiv on. Kol shekein a shoyel. And then, just to make it a little bit more interesting, is that he forgot it there. What is shikha? Is shikha a pshiyah? You give me something to watch and I forget it. Am I a pesheya or not? And that l'chayra actually is a steerus gemaris. There are two gemaras. One gemaras masha shikha is a pshia, and one Gemara is mashma shik is only like gneva va'aveda. It's a major machloikis achroinim how to be miyashiv the two sugyas. Shar Ephraim and down, literally 20 achroinim handle the shaila. Some suggest, it's not Muslim, but some suggest that normally shikha is only like gneva va'aveda. We're human. We forget. We tend to forget. As we get older, we tend to forget even more. Ooh, I have a lot of senior moments. We get more senior moments as we get older. That's how it goes. But if you're a shomer, oh, then you have more liability. You have to be watching this. You have no right to forget. You're not supposed to forget. Forgetting for a shomer might be worse. It might be a pshia. So then, even if he would be only a shomer chinam, the fact that he forgot it in the restaurant might now make him even a pshia that he's chayiv if he's like those achronim. Okay, but if he's a shol, less man to polak, he's chayiv. He's chayiv.
Is there as far to say depends on the value of the thing that you forget? Like if you forget a dollar, a pen, if you forgot it, it's less. It's more of an aveda than a pshia. If somebody gives you a $5,000 tray and you forget, that's a pshia.
I got it. I hear you. The achronim don't make that killer. Don't make that killer. What you're saying is a double mistake. We could be that we have to take such a thing into account, what's normal, but the achronim don't make that killer. They get, like I said, either shemachinim or they get out of the Gemara. It really means something else. But these are their parameter. But now let's go back to our shaila. So I'll tell you how the Bezin passed in the shaila. The Bezin Paskin, he was potter. He's a shayl and shayl sky for everything. He's potter. Why? Because shmir b'baylam. Let's explain what that means. Shmir b'baylam means it's a special gzeris hakosef that if a shomer, any form of shomer, shemachinim, shemasacha, shayl, any form of shomer, if a shomer got the item while the owner of the item was working for the shomer, that's Baal of Imoy. The way Chazal understood the pasuk, which is this week's pasuk, right? We just had Baal of Imoy yesterday. Baal of Imoy is Baal of Imoy b'melachtoi. As long as the owner is working for the shomer at the time of the haschalas hashmira, the time the shmira started, there's a gzeris hakosef called Baal of Imoy, and the shomer is potter. That's a pasuk in the Torah. That's how Chazal understood the Torah. It means if it's Baal of Imay, it has to be the time of the She'ela. And it's a P'tor on all Shemim. Like I said, Shemachinim, Shemasach, Hashal, all of them have the P'tor. And it doesn't make a difference how the owner of the item is working for the Shemer. He could be working for pay. He could be working as a favor, as a volunteer. Doesn't make a difference. As long as the owner is working for the shomer at the time of the Aschalas Hashmira, they have the P'tur Baal of Imoy. And not only that, Chazal go out to say that what happens if the owner was working for me when I borrowed the item? On that Tuesday, I borrowed the item, he was working for me. His job ended on Tuesday, but I botched on Wednesday. I lost the item on Wednesday. You still have the P'tur Baal of Imoy, even though he's no longer working for you. As long as the time the Shmira started, he was working for you, you have a P'tur Baal of Imoy. That's how Chazal understood the Gemara. Good. And it doesn't make a difference if he's working for the shomer in this same area. Let's say, for example, in this case, I borrowed a tray. It's not because he was working for me, he was serving at my Suda, or he's working for me, he happens to be my employee in my mortgage company in New York. Doesn't make a difference. The idea is as long as he's hired or volunteered, he's working for me at the time I take possession of his item to watch, I have a p'tur called Baal of Imoy. In fact, the Gemara even says, I have a great eitzah for you. Did you learn the Gemara? Ashkeni Mayim? The Gemara says, this is an eitzah for a shomer to get out. What you should do is, every time you want to borrow an item, what you should do is you should ask, just nonchalantly ask the owner, by the way, I'm thirsty, can I have a drink, please? Sure. And he gives you the drink, and you borrow the item while he's giving you the drink, then you have the P'tur Baal of Imoy. The drink only took, it's nominal work, and it took 10 seconds. But if I borrow it at the time he's preparing the drink for me, I'm good. I have a P'tur Baal of Imoy. That is the Gemara. The Gemara says if you're smart, you could outsmart the guy. When he asks you for the drink, you should tell him, Herzi, first borrow my item, and then I'll give you the drink, because I don't want you to have the P'tur Baal of Imoy. Good, but this is the way to do it. You have a P'tur Baal of Imoy, just getting him to do any malaka for you at the time you take possession, the shmira of the item. That's the Gemara. Now, Paiskim extend this Gemara. I mean, where the Gemara has other Gemaras about it. If you have a Malamed Tinoikis who teaches the children in the city, anyone who's a communal worker, does things for the city, and you're what? A Rav, yeah, very good.
A dying,
yeah. But if you're a Rav more than a dying, Rav's on call all the time. Yeah, so 24/7. If you are working for the people, and they could call you at any time to get the malacha, to get you to do something, let's say like a mamatanekis, teach my kid, or any other type of worker like that, and you borrow at that time that he's on call, you'll have a p'tur of bal of imay. Not only if he's doing malacha for you actually at that time, but the Ramah takes it the Yesharim maybe even further, as long as he could be doing malacha for you. So let's just say you have an in-house accountant, an in-house lawyer, and the way it works is you don't have a full day to keep him busy. So you allow him to do his own stuff on the side, but whenever you need to do work, he has to do work for you. So during those hours, 9 to 5, even though he's not doing the work, you'd have nothing to give him today. He was doing his private clients today. But since during this time, he's meshubit to me, if I need him to look over a contract, to write something, to do something, he has to do it. So then I have the p'tur of bal of imay if I borrow something from him during that time.
Even if he has an active client right now, and if you were not going to do it, you say, "I'll get you."
yeah, one second, I'm talking.
Yeah, but you really can't, because the way I have the deal with Avyu is that you have to give me kedima. You're my in-house attorney. You have to deal with me. Now, it could be, we could talk about what happens if there's a different type of a structure. But as long as he has to work for me when I want, and it could be, you're right, in the city we could talk about when other children are also using his malacha, so I have to wait online. But the idea is still, he's mechuyev to the tzibur, and if a different child wouldn't be being taught then, he would have to be teaching my child. So then he's meshubit to me as well. The garbage collectors have to pick up the garbage. We pay from the communal funds, from township funds. So they are meshubit to everybody. Now there are dates when they have, good, but they're meshubit to everybody to pick up the garbage. Now he can't come to me this second because he has to go to my neighbor first. Got it. But he's meshubit to do this route to get the garbage. So as long as it's roy for him to do malacha for me, you have the p'tur of bal of imay. So therefore, the Bezin extended this concept, watch this, and said a Hatzalah member is on call. If Chulila V'chaz, the father of this child, needed the Hatzalah at that moment and would have called Hatzalah, this guy would respond to the call. Now, of course, if there's another Hatzalah member closer, then the other guy would respond. But in theory, he could be responding to his call if he needs to, whatever the structure of Hatzalah is when you respond and who responds to which calls, he would have to respond to the call. So therefore, it was Ba'al of Imoy B'Malachdoi, that Hatzalah member was on call to provide a service to the father of the child at the time that he borrowed the tray, in which case he would have the p'tur of Ba'al of Imoy. So this, I said this over about 20 years ago in a shir, and this story went viral across Lakewood, so much so that we already had people who are like mamish, taking the issue with the psak. They put up signs, they plaster signs. But guys, when you were in Lakewood, then they plaster signs all over town. The Bezim Shiurim passing like this. Look what they passing, and you should be careful. You should make sure you're never a communal worker, because otherwise the Bezim will get you. They wrote like some nasty sign, some stupid sign, and that's what they put over all of Lakewood. Now, truth be told, I have to admit, the story never took place. I made up this story. It was good for a shir. I made up the story, and it went all over, went viral, went across, mamish, viral beyond. But since it was a lot of backlash from the Oilam, so when we went to Eretz Yisrael, we used to go to Eretz Yisrael every single year. When we went to Eretz Yisrael, we asked the shaila to Rabbi Yasher Zatzal and to Rabbi Nissen Karel Zatzal. And lo and behold, they both said these potas, Ba'al of Imay.
Well, everybody's mechuyev to respond.
No, there is a way to be mechalek. And the way to be mechalek is that all the cases of Chazal, the Malamed Tinoikis, and all those cases, communal city workers are working for me. I'm part of the rabbim of the city. We all chip in the taxes. So we all the people, ruled by the people, we all are hiring all of the township members to service all of us. Hatzalah structure is a little different. It's voluntary, good. And also the workers, the Hatzalah members, don't have to answer to me and you. They have to answer to their captains, and the captains have to answer to the board. And now Baruch Hashem, there's a rabbinical board, so now the board has to answer to the rabbinical board. But it's not a direct relationship. Maybe that would say that he's not really working for me. He's working for Lechvei's Senderovitz, and Senderovitz is working for the board, and we keep on going up, but it's not a direct relationship. To which they both responded, both Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Nissen Karelitz, they both said, no, it's still considered Baal Avimai. So we have a P'tur Baal Avimai. So Baal Avimai could get you at like the most, now if you think about it, what a shkacha pratis it was that Hatzalah radio went on during the Din Torah. But it just means it wasn't a story, it was a made-up story. It's a Ma'aseh Shlohoya Kachaya. Sometimes Ma'aseh Shlohoya Kachaya, sometimes the Ma'aseh Shlohoya Kachaya. This was one of the Shlohoya Kachayas. Okay, fine, that was the story.
What about a manager? Let's say if you're working for he doesn't own the company, but you're working for the guy who's your boss in the company, but he doesn't own the company. So is that
is it considered balavim of him? Pashtus not. If you're not doing the malacha for him, if he doesn't really benefit,
really doing. He hired you. He's the thing.
He didn't hire you. He's overseeing you. He might physically hired you, but he didn't hire you for himself. He hired you on behalf of the owner, on behalf of the company. He's just like the shliach in between to get the work done, to hire and fire, whatever it is.
Who owns public companies and get.
You wouldn't say shliach Adam Kamaso? You wouldn't say shliach Adam Kamaso?
Where are you now?
No, the question he had a shot was
Very good.
No, shlichus, he don't have the shlichus the other way. Shlichus Adam Kamaso is, we're talking about if the owner would be working, right, and sends a shliach, that's a Gemara, and sends a shliach to the shoyel to do work. Here, his case is the other way around. It's I'm borrowing from the employee, right? That was your case. I'm borrowing from the employee, and who am I? I happen to have hired the employee, but not for my own behalf, on behalf of somebody else. So here he's being hired not for me, he's being hired for somebody else. All right, Rabbi Say. Let's take another case.
If you extend this to Hatzalah, then the whole world becomes Baal Avimai. Because everybody's mechuyev to respond to that. So everybody's mechuyev to that.
Rather than not, there's only few cases that you have the communal workers that you're mechuyev to do. For example, Hatzalah actually is a mandated responder. By law, if anyone was a paramedic, by law, he must respond to a call. It happens to be even worse, but I'm not even going down there. But the idea is they happen to be on call. Normally, I don't know, what field do you work in? In the normal industry, we work for real estate, we work for nursing homes, we work for whatever it is, mortgages. We are limited to that field, and we work only for the owner. So I'm only a Baal Avimai for that owner. Now, if you're right, a public trade company, we could talk about maybe it's nothing, right?
Doctor work for.
Who's it? The doctor also. The doctor, today's doctors are private entities. And today I'm going golfing. I'm going golfing today. It's a weekend. My sister, my brother-in-law's a doctor. My sister, what he says, you have to have the mazel when to get sick. Because if you get sick at the wrong time, the doctor's off. You get sick on the weekend, it's a dangerous. You get sick on the weekend, no doctors on call. No good doctors on call on the weekend. So that's how it goes. Doctors decide for themselves. You know how many doctors decide when to cause a delivery? They make a cheshbon. They're going on golfing on Monday because it's extended weekends. They're taking vacation. So mainly they want to put the lady into labor on Friday and deuce on Friday because to wait till Tuesday is like too hard. So we asked the doctor, but why can't you wait till Monday? Well, Monday I'm going on vacation. Right? Yeah. So that's more important. You got there's a whole tier of what's important. So number one, vacation, then having the child, then right, there's different importance. So they work for themselves. They're not working for you.
Okay.
But you're right. You're right. If you work, let's say, emergency doctor, emergency room, on-call doctor, who has to respond to anyone coming into emergency room during those hours. I have a cousin who's such a doctor in economic. He's on call at that time. You might have a problem at that time, a Baal Avimai. All right, let's go on, Rabbi.
You're also Patur, even though if you consider the Pshia, you Baal Avimai is a Patur even from Pshia.
Yes, Baal Avimai is a Patur even for Pshia. Yes. The Gzeris HaKosa is pot even for Pshia, not for Adam HaMazik. If someone is the Adam HaMazik, not, but for Pshia, yes. And this is not Adam HaMazik. At best, it's just a Pshia. If you hold shikha is a pshia, it's a pshia. And Batur Balavima is even for pshia. Unlike Lamashal, Mesa Makmas Malacha, we could talk about that may be for pshia or not. But Balavima is it's a cost of across the board. Patzes even the Shemachinim for pshia. All right. Next case.
Would it be
Let's
the
move on.
same thing
We
at
have
the
a lot of
Gabbai and the
cases.
Shul?
We have to, the diner has a lot of cases. So we're gonna tumble afterwards. Let's go straight.
Let's go. We have a lot. Mamich, I brought like, I know, more than a dozen cases. We'll
We
get
have
to
to
a
leave
few.
some fair to stroll, so we're not gonna do all of
Okay,
them today.
fine, we'll try. Okay, let's take another case. And the case was like this. Reuven borrowed a recorder, an MP3 player from his friend, borrowed an MP3 player. And without the owner knowing, Reuven messed up and ruined the player. He dropped it, it broke. It wasn't Mason Makmas Malacha. He was a Pesheya and it broke, and really he's chayv. I mean, shows chayv even for Einstein. So really he's on the hook. He was too embarrassed to tell that to the marshal. So he was stalling. You know, when the time comes that the marshal wants to record it back, and he said back, at that time he's going to have to spill the truth, spill the beans that, I'm sorry, I broke your recording. Okay. In the meantime, Baruch Hashem, the marshal decided to upgrade the latest and the greatest and got a new recorder. The new recorder is already can say the share for you. That's a new recorder. So he even not getting the new recorder. That's how it is. So he goes back to the shul and tells the shul, you never believe it, but I got a new recorder. I see you're enjoying my recorder so much. You're using it for so long. You're enjoying it. You know what? You can keep it. Keep the recorder, because in time you can have my recorder. That was the story. Good. Now the shaila is, Rabbi Isai, does that pater the shul from the damages that he caused? He gifted him a recorder, but had he gifted him the recorder before anything happened to the recorder, for sure, it was a gift. And then the shayl could do whatever he wants with his own recorder. It's his own recorder now. But it broke before he received the gift. So once it breaks, he's already chayiv al she'ela for however it broke. As long as that makes him out he's chayiv.
Does a shayl need a kinyan?
First, he had a kinyan, and he did it, and he had a
Gave
sham,
it to him.
It was Moishech.
Oh, so was he Michael the damages?
Michael the damage.
Let's say it's not repairable, but was he Michael that he didn't even know that it was damaged? If he would know that it's damaged and you owe me $100, and he would tell him, okay, you know what, I'm Michael the $100.
$100.
So I make a mechila on the $100. But he didn't know it was damaged. He thinks the recorder still exists. So he gifted a recorder that's now broken to the shayl. So let's say a broken recorder is worth $5. I don't even know if it's even worth that. So it turned out that the gift was only worth $5. But the $100 of loss that was caused because of the break, that the shayl is on the hook. When he gifted him the recorder, does that include gifting him a patur on the chiyuv of the $100 for the breaking? What do you say, Rabbi Isai? You say yes. All right, Pinky says yes. What did the Olam say? Good? What does the Olam say? You hear the Shiloh? Okay. So this grada, you're not going to find in Hilchos Shomrim. It's not in Hilchos Shomrim. But I would like to make a tzushel to Even Ezer. Watch this case. In Even Ezer, in Simul Kov Ches Siv Vav, there's a story that if you gave a Isha a chayfetz to watch, and she broke the chayfetz, where now she's chayiv on the chayfetz, and there's a little left of value, a shava pruta's worth of value left, and the owner of the chayfetz was unaware that she broke the chayfetz, and then he goes over to her and he says, "Harei at mukudeshes li," with this chayfetz that I have by you as a bekadin, mahadin. So the poskim say, most of the poskim say like that, and even those who don't, for other reasons, but most of the poskim say it belies like you mekadesh with a shava pruta and a milva bevasachas, because she owes you $100 for the chayfetz that she broke. There's still a shava pruta's worth left of value, it's $1 worth left of the chayfetz. So it's as if he was mekadesha with the $101, the $100 that she owes him, and the dollar that the chayfetz is worth. He doesn't know that it was broken. These poskim hold that when you gift a chayfetz to a shema, included in that gift is all the subsequent value that comes out of the gift. So even the damages that were caused to the gift that the shema is already on the hook for, that's included in this gift, even though the owner was not aware. So I would like to make that sushtel of Huadin over here, when he gifted the recorder, even though it was broken, he's gifting even the value, the monetary value that the Shema owes him for the recorder. That's what I would suggest. Now,
What
it's not
about
a-
Genevas Das? What
What's
about
the-
Genevas Das?
What's the Gnevis Das?
The guy doesn't know your damage.
Doesn't know that
He
it
doesn't
broke.
know you owe him
Okay,
money.
he doesn't know, but so what? I gifted it to you. I
He
didn't.
doesn't know you
Gnevis
owe him
Das-
money.
No, but Gnevis Das is only when you fool me to get something from me that otherwise you wouldn't have gotten. Here, I gifted to you not knowing that it was damaged, so I just gifted to you. You didn't fool me at all, A, and B is I'm just gifting you the item. But maybe this is what you mean to say, is that perhaps you can make a chilik from here to Ebenezer. You see, in Ebenezer's case, he wanted to be Mekadashah with a whole $101 worth of value of the chayfetz. Now, instead of being $101 in the chayfetz, it's $100 for damages, real dollars, and $1 left of the chayfetz. But he wants to gift her the whole $101 value to be Mekadashah. In our case, the only reason why he gifted this guy the recorder was because he got a new recorder and he doesn't need two recorders. So he figured he may as well be a nice guy and give the old one to this friend. But had he known that the chayfetz was broken and the guy would owe him $100, maybe he'll accept the $100 payment. Maybe. Because I don't need two recorders, but I don't mind having $100 in one recorder. Maybe I would take that $100 from the guy. Maybe, maybe not, depending how I want to go, how good of a friend he is, how hard I want to go on him. But if he owes me the $100, maybe I would take those $100 and give them to hide. So how do you know that when I'm gifting him the recorder, I mean to gift him the whole $101 worth of value? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Food for thought, Rabbi Stein.
Because when he
All right,
gifted it to him, he gave him the whole thing. When
He
he
gave him
gifted
the
it
whole
to him, he gave him the whole thing.
Correct. But why did he give it to him? He gave it to him because he doesn't need a second recorder. Had he not bought a new recorder, he would never gift him an old recorder. He only did it because he ends up having a second recorder. He doesn't need two recorders. But there was no two recorders to have. The first one was broken. So he's never had two recorders. So he'll have the new recorder plus $100 from the old recorder. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, I can hear both ways. Okay, I want to share with you a true story. This is a true story. It's a chikrei leiv.
Second one wasn't a true story?
No, the second one was also a true story. It happened to be awesome. But true
You have to
chikrei
make every
leiv-
diak in the world. Look.
Yeah. I'm not a Rishon. Yeah. All right. Chuvas chikrei leiv choshim mishwa chelik aleph kuf vav has a story like this. Soren borrowed a Sefer Torah. Today it's very common. Very common people write Sefer Torah. One of them became a mitzvah deraisa, like Rav Rishonim. And what are they going to do? They're not going to hold it by themselves. What do they have it in? Also, it's a shtickle dangerous keeping a Sefer Torah in your own house for many reasons. Ruchni is Gashmi is. And Memela, he parks it, deposits it by a shul, and the shul lanes from it, and it's Gavaldik. And so Zenin of Zenena, they're getting Sefer Torah to lane from. He's getting the benefit that the tzibur is benefiting from Sefer Torah. He's the Maaseh Harabim in a mitzvah Gedolah of Kriyas HaTorah. It's Gavaldik, and that's how it goes. But over time, the Sefer Torah needs repair. What happens is over time, the oisias get rubbed out, whatever it is.
Appreciates.
It depreciates, and now they let us get caught. You know, what a guy who's very overly aggressive when he goes to make the bracha and he wipes the ice when he kisses the thing and he mamish ruins it. We have different stories how the oisias get ruined. Some of them make the bracha with such fervor that they spit into the Sefer Torah, and that's like a no-no. Baruch Hashem, mikam Yisrael with mamish chavan gavaldik. But the bottom line is, the Sefer Torah gets ruined. So the Sefer Torah needs repair from time to time. The shul is a shoyel on that Sefer Torah. Who's responsible to repair the Sefer Torah? So normally you would say that if it's all in the course of laning, no one did something out of the ordinary. This is what we call Mesa Machmas Malacha. And here a shoyel will be pata. Even though normally the shul is a shoyel and should be chayiv on every oinus under the sun. But the one exception is Mesa Machmas Malacha. So l'chayr they should be pata as Mesa Machmas Malacha. Comes along the chikrei leiv. And the chikrei leiv comes with a hatzah. Watch this hatzah. You saw the chikrei leiv? Chikrei leiv says, gavaldik. Chikrei leiv says that, you know, a shoyel is chayiv to feed an animal. If you have an animal, a shul is chayv to feed it. Even though it needs food regular day in, day out, it does malacha, it gets hungry, it needs to be fed. You don't have a p'tur of machmas malacha not to feed an animal. And the reason is because there's a chiv mezainis on a shoyal. Zok techikulet, he's mitzadeh, he's not 100%, but he's mitzadeh that a shoyal, sefer Torah, even though it's Mesa Maklaka, so to speak, but it doesn't have a pure Mesa Maklaka, because fixing a Sefer Torah is like Mezoinis Lahavdil for an animal. It's day in and day out, it's normal wear and tear, and this is what the animal needs to survive. So this is what the Sefer Torah needs to survive. It needs to be fed, so to speak. Oisius, it needs to be aptikin, agois asaifa, and memel, it's considered mezoinis, and the chiv is on the shoyl, on the shul to fix the Sefer Torah. As I tiny to chikrei leif. And there are a number of chuvis who handle this type of shayla. I want to share with you another inverted case. But the same Shaila, and that's from the Imre Yosha. The Imre Yosha has a story where, again,
Hello, who the Imre Yosha was, if you know.
Imre Yosha is Remei Arik. It was a goy in oilam. Imre Yosha was a goy in oilam. Chelik Beis Simen Samaches. A goy in oilam. Mamish a goy in oilam.
Between the two wars.
Yeah, got it last night. I looked at two bits of Imre Yosha, not to get to this year, to a different experience about them. Goy in oilam. Mamish a goy in oilam. So, and he was considered one of the Paiskei Hadar. So the Imre Yosha has the following story, that a shul borrowed a Sefer Torah, and they made up that the shul's responsible to fix the Sefer Torah. It means as it needs ticking going on, the shul has to do that ticking. They have to be magir the Sefer Torah. And then V'yayoim Rachmana Litzlan, a fire broke out, and the Sefer Torah was burnt. And now the shaila was, is the shul responsible $50,000 or $150,000 for a Sifrei Torah that was burned? A shul's chai ba'insin. Is the shul chai ba'insin? So l'chayra, the shul should be chai ba'insin. But then there was a svara, watch this, that the shul wasn't really a shoyal. Why not? Because in order to be a shoyal, to be chai ba'insin, the Gemara says there has to be kol hana'a shaloi. You have to have the total benefit from the item. But since the shul committed to fix the Sefer Torah as it goes along from time to time, so the shul is benefiting the owner of the Sefer Torah. Over time, they're fixing the Sefer Torah. So it's as if it's a schiris. Instead of me renting the Sefer Torah for, let's just say, $10 a month or $100 a month, I rent it from you, and the payment is that I pay for the sefer to fix it from time to time.
That's assuming that there would be any, there would be no ticket if it wasn't being used. It's not a doinus on an animal.
Sometimes, okay, so
you keep the secretary in your house and you can lend it.
No, but the Imre Yosha is telling you that the depreciation is similar to
the Sefer Torah need just stamazai also, just from oxidation as well. But you're right, the main is from the wear and tear, but even
it's not the same as the doinus.
1 second, we'll get to it. 1 second. So Zok the Imre Yosha that l'chayra the shul should be a shoy mitzachah, and we know a shoy mitzachah is only chayef v'gneva v'aveda, but not on an oynis gomer. Sreifa is an oynis gomer, something that totally you can't predict, totally out of control. So it's a oynis gomer, and if it's an oynis gomer, the shul should be pata. But then Imre Yosha says, 1 second, the shul's not a seicher, even though the shul committed. Sorry, it's not a. It's not a seicher. They didn't rent the Sefer Torah because even though they committed to pay for fixing is mezainis.
Not schiris.
It's not schiris. It's mezainis. Every shoyl has to feed an animal, and it's still a shoyl achai b'chol. We say it's kol hanashaloi. He has to provide mezainis. That's part of having an animal. You have to keep it alive. You have to give it mezainis. So that's not wear and tear. That's not payment. That's partial giving mezainis, and that has nothing to do. That doesn't downgrade the shoyl to a seicher. So memela the shoyl is still chai ba'insin. So to buy Sefer Torah, the shul is still considered a shoyl, The fact that they fixed it, that's only mezainis, like the Chikrei Leif said. He doesn't quote the Chikrei Leif, but like the Chikrei Leif says, and Memela, the shul is still a chayiv, because there's still a shoyel, and the chayiv for the shreifa, because the shul is chayiv for einzen. As is like the Imre Yosha. So you have two goyne oilam, and you have more. There's more on it that want to be mitzaded. He also, Imre Yosha wasn't 100%, but he was mitzaded that fixing a sefer Torah is mezainis. The Rabbi say, Lule de Mestapina, had it not been for the Gedele Oilam, had you asked me this Shaila, I would have said fixing a Sefer Torah is not Mezainis. And probably this is what you mean to say, is I think it's a pasha techilik between Mezainis and this. At least to me it's pasha, obviously I'm wrong, but to me it's pasha, and that is, Mezainis of an animal is regardless if the animal does work or not, the animal needs to be fed. Sure, if the animal works, maybe he needs a little more mezainis, but primarily his mezainis is pasha to stay alive. And if you borrow an animal, since your responsibility is to give back the animal intact, so in that she'ela is you have the responsibility to feed the animal. That's part of your responsibility of being a shoyel. So memela, that's why you chayv mezainis. Primarily by Sefer Torah, yes, there's such a thing called oxidation, yes, and it could be happen over time, but the primarily why it needs tikkun is because of the wear and tear. Like we gave different examples why the Sefer Torah gets ruined over time. Comes Simchas Torah and they're dancing and they're sweating and it gets into the Sefer Torah and it ruins the Sefer Torah. There are ways why a Sefer Torah gets ruined, and it's because of its usage. That's how a Sefer Torah primarily gets ruined. So it came machmas the malacha. It didn't come shaloi machmas the malacha. Most of the damage is machmas malacha, and therefore I would have argued that it's not doimit to mezainis. Mezainis is a chiv you have just to keep it alive, nothing to do with the malacha. True, yes. You use it a little more, it needs a little more mezainis. True, but most of mezainis are the same. Rabbi said, whether we do malacha, whether we come to a shir, or we schlep packages, we still need to eat 3 times a day. We have to survive. We need to eat. That's how Hashem created us. So mezainis is a fact of life. In order to have life, you need to eat. So the same thing with the animal. That's mezainis. That's responsibility on the shoyel. Mashenkin by a Sefer Torah, it doesn't need to have tikkun by and large unless you use it. So then it's machmas malacha.
If you don't make out, who has it?
What's the big?
If you don't make up.
By which case?
Repeat,
Oh,
the guys didn't repeat the question, so everyone can hear.
They don't make up.
Oh, no, I'm telling you, the Chikrei Leif says, you're right, but the Imre Yosha, they made up.
Yeah,
But in the case of Chikrei Leif, so the Chikrei Leif wants to argue that even if you don't make up, the show has the responsibility because it's like mezainis. Right, but I would have argued, I would have said not like that. Right, exactly.
How similar to mezainis is it? That's
Right, all right.
So Rabbi, there's no petur of Re'eu by
We're getting a
Shimon?
whole bunch of
I'm
questions on the
getting,
floor. I'll try to repeat them. What was the question?
There's no petur of Re'eu by Shimon? I guess there isn't. This is not Re'eu, it's a shul.
One second.
What's that? The question on the floor. So the child is you borrow a car and what's mezainis for a car?
Fuel.
Oh, maintenance.
Maintenance.
Well, going to gas is for your personal
For your
use.
personal
That's for
use.
sure.
The gas not for the car.
Well, same thing is when it gets room. It's more like the wear and tear that a car needs at face, rotation of tires every once in a while.
Maintenance.
Oil changes or air in the tires. That's more like we're talking about, but that would be put out to make some machmas malacha, pashtus. They're trying to say by Sefer Torah, it blives like mezainis. It's okay, it's that chiddush, but it's gein olam. So here it is. All right, what was your shaila on Zoom? Yes, I'm sorry. What was your shaila? He just went off. What happened?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? Why buy the imay or college no shaloi? If the guy davened in the shul, the guy who gave the Torah is one of the daveners in the shul, so he's always, it's not called no shaloi shal hashayil.
Right, because you want to say that if the owner of Sefer Torah is also in the shul, so maybe it's a joint hana that everyone.
So he's part of. It's not called
Okay.
shaloi.
Yeah, so we could talk about it. It's really, if you think about it, it's kol hana, but they're all getting from that hana. Yeah, you're right, 100%.
Right, and what happens if he's, let's say, the president or a gabbai? Is he considered ba'al v'imay? He's
Well-
working for,
He,
the-
if he's the Gabi of the shul,
yeah.
the owner of the Sefer Torah is the Gabi of the shul, and he's working for the shul. If he, at the time that he lent it,
No, he's the
was-
president. The president's always on call.
Is he?
Yeah, he's doing.
Not the real president.
I don't know.
But a Gabbai, I don't know, you know.
My Shrezer Kohen Bracha used to say, Pinky, you remember? He used to say that complaint department is open the second Tuesday of every week. That's when it's open. Yeah, the second Tuesday of every week it's open. That's it. The president's allowed out to take complaints all the time. They have a life of their own. Okay, let's go to the next shiloh. We have a lot of shilohs. And let's go to the next shiloh. Shiloh was like this. This shiloh is brought to Rabbi Zubelstein in the Sefer Kav V'Noki, and Tov Reish Kaf Ches brings the shiloh. It was a shiloh that Reuben gave Shimon a chayfetz to watch. And he was watching it. He's a El Chayid and a Falesa Chayid responsible. And he was watching it in his house. Good? He was watching it in his house. Come, say the night. Everyone knows that the halach is Magen Avram brings down Tov Peyal Sukkot and Test, and on say the night, there's a min in Klai so that we don't lock our doors on say the night. Because it's low Shiurim, so we don't lock our doors. Sure enough, so he didn't lock his door. And that night, that
Silver disappeared.
The silver thing that he had was stolen and disappeared. The shaila is he was a shoy machinam. A shoy machinam is only chayef a pshia. Was he a pshia for not locking the door at night or not? Is it considered a pshia or not?
Because of halacha.
Right. Normally, avad it's a pshia. Right. Normally it's a pshia. But since it's an Indian not to lock the door at night on low shimurim, is he considered a pshia for not locking the door? That's the shaila. So they presented the shayla to Rabbi Yosef Zatzal, and Rabbi Yosef said that although it's a gavaldika halach and a gavaldika inyan, on your own chevetzim you could keep inyanim. On someone else's chayfetz, you have to be a shoyma. And if you're a shoyma, then that night you were supposed to have locked the door. Or tell the owner, I'm very makbid not to lock my door on Lo Shimurim, and therefore on Lo Shimurim, you should know if you want, you can take the chayvitz back Erev Pesach and bring it back to me the next day. But you should know I don't lock my door on Lo Pesach, and because he didn't do that, he didn't lock the door, so therefore he's chayiv. It's considered a pshia. All right, next shayla Rabbi Isai. Ready for this story? This happened in Madison Square Garden. You'll be able to tell me when it happened. When was the Daf Yomi Museum in Madison Square Garden? Not the last one.
28 years ago.
1990.
3 times ago. Yeah.
3 times ago. Yeah.
3 times ago, maybe it was. In Madison Square Garden. You ready?
1990.
When was it?
1990.
1990.
Okay, Gavaldik.
Oh.
So there's a person, he took his son to the Madison Square Garden. His mom is taking it all in. He wants his son to get that Gavaldika Cheshkas HaTorah and Yiras Shemayim. And they have their professional camera. He was not going to miss a picture here. And he's taking picture after picture of all the Gavaldika Gedolim are there. It was a sight to behold. And in Mamish, all the people, like, when was a Tanya in such a massive, so many people together? Gavaldik, Mamish, awesome sight. Just uplifting and inspiring. But his tzadikal in middle had to go to use the bathroom. So he's not going to schlep his whole chefza, this massive camera, to the bathroom with his son. So he turns to the guy next to him and he said, is it right if I put my camera down here? So the guy said, sure. So he goes and takes his tzadikal to the bathroom. And when he comes back from the bathroom, he sees that his camera is on the floor, broken. And the neighbor who's sitting next to him is not even in his seat. What must have happened is while he went to the bathroom, the neighbor went away, and when people, you know how it works at Madison Square Garden,
They smashed the thing.
very tight. So whenever anyone walks by without even knowing about it, you end up schlepping your jacket, your coat schleps everything along on the seats onto the floor. So schlepp the camera on the floor, hit the floor. The guy who caused the damage doesn't even know either. And that's how it is, and now it's on the floor. Okay, he's controlling himself here. He lost his unbelievable camera, unbelievable. And he controlled himself till finally the neighbor comes back to his seat and he asks him, Rabbi, how come you shirked your responsibility? You're a shoyma watching my camera. Why did you leave for? So the guy looks at him, I'm a shoyma? When was I a shoyma? I asked you, Lahedya, can I leave my camera here? And you said yes. So the guy says, I said, yes, because you're 40,000 Yidden. You think someone's going to steal your camera? Of course you can leave it here. Why not? Of course you can leave it. But I never accepted responsibility on your camera. Rabbi say, is that guy chayiv? Is he a shoyma by telling him he could leave his camera there? Did he accept responsibility to become a shoyma chinam? In which case, when he left himself to go to the bathroom, he is a pesheya, or he's not a shoyma at all. What do you say to the shayla, Rabbi say? Sorry?
No kidding.
Oh, no kidding. Great. That's a good way to
When was the Kabbalah Shmira?
Oh, another good way. So let's deal with what the Elam is saying. Good. Alach and Rishon. We'll give Rabbi Gottesman one say because there's no Shmira. So to understand this, what does it mean that there's no Shmira? There's a whole Shaila. Of when I'm in Makabo Shmira. The Elam went into this?
A little bit. We did it today.
Oh, okay, good. So it's mamish timely. If I tell you, you say, can I leave this here? And I say, Hanuch lefanai, leave it in front of me, that's considered as Makabo Shmira. If I tell you, Hanuch lefanecha, leave it in front of you, I was not Makabo Shmira. If I say, Hanuch stam, the way we pass him, also I was not Makabo Shmira. So I'm not being Makabo Shmira. If I say Hanuch kan, Hanuch stam, I'm potter. That's Rish Tadi Aleph Siv Beis. I'm going to be potter if I just say Hanuch stam. And it happens to be a Chubas HaRosh. I don't know if the Olam learned that. Did they get into it?
We went to the Ramah. We went to the Mechaber Ramah and
That if you leave it in a place that's not a Mokum HaMishtama, then maybe that's different. But this is a Mokum HaMishtama. To go out to the bathroom for such a short time, the Makan Ephraim says even the Rosh would be Moida for such a short time.
You mean the Nesivis and the Makma Mishtamer, yeah.
Yeah, but the Makan Ephraim says that also. If it's a short time, that's considered that even the Rosh would be Moida. So then I was never Makabo Shmira. So Mamela, I'm not a Shema. And then you're right as well. Where was the Kinyan? In order to be a Shema, to be Chayiv, you need to have a Kinyan. Where was the Kinyan?
Chlaikas, no? Then Machlaikas Rishayna?
Oh, no, 1 second. If you leave, again, you go into the rush, right? That, again, but it's only for such a short time. So the Makan Ephraim, you go into that type of alam. This also, if you need, you don't have a stamshus of a shoyel. If you need, you don't even have Kinyan Dalet Amas. You don't have kinyan chot.
You're in a public place.
Oh, right. You don't have kinyan chot, so he didn't leave it on my chair, even if my chair is considered mine because I rented it for the event.
Not so
but
clear.
he rented, you put it on your chair, so it's in your chotza. You don't have Dalet Amos. It's in a public place. It belongs to Madison Square Garden, or especially the place that you left it might even belong to you, the owner of the camera, because you rented it for the event. So at the end of the day, 2 reasons why you bought it. For both of these reasons, there was no Kabbalah Shmira, and there's no kinyan, so the guy is going to be potter. All right, but it's still kedai to go with the big camera to show the kid that it's so amazing, such an event. It's worth to break a big camera over it, no? He taught the kid. I think the kid got a better lesson for life. It was such a chashuv event that he got to see the Klal Yisrael Gavaldik. All right, let's give you another story, Rabbi Say. Another story. I'm running out of time. We'll see how many stories I have left.
At least one more for sure.
One more. Okay, fine. This is a short story. Story was a true story that
So what was the psak in the camera, Lamais?
is potter.
Potter
Potter
right
for
here?
both reasons. Everyone agrees? Potter
Yeah.
for 2 reasons. Okay, good. The guy who broke it unintentionally. So now you have to know, is he considered a mazik? There's a klal odem muad la'olam. But the way we paskin, that just means a yechayi for pshia and an oynis ke'ein aveda. That's a little oynis. But an oynis ke'ein gneva, or a big oynis, and koshikin an oynis gama, you're going to be potter. So now the question is, when he walked by, not realizing he's schlepping the camera off, is that considered an oynis ke'ein aveda or oynis ke'ein gneva? Maybe he'd be potter for the other mamazik, maybe. And altogether, we don't know who the guy is. So it's only, theoretical shaila. We don't know who the guy was. All right. Next shaila, Rabbi say, Reuven gave Shimon a sefer to watch. Okay, he gave him a sefer to watch, and Shimon botched up, and he lost the sefer. Okay, he lost the sefer.
Pashut lost it.
Pashut, he lost it. He was a pesheya. He lost the sefer. Less man the public. He agrees. He lost the sefer. He'll go to the store. He'll buy him a brand new $20 sefer. No problem. He's fine with that. But the owner of the sefer said, I'm not worried about the sefer. I'm worried about the letter that was in the sefer. Do you know what letter was in the sefer? In the sefer was a letter of a tzaddik, one of the Gdei Lador, about 100 years ago. He wrote a letter. I have that ksav. It was a ksav yad of that person. I parked it in the sefer. True story. I parked it in the sefer. I could get over $1,000 for that letter. To sell that letter on the auction, I could get easily over $1,000. And you lost not $20 sefer. You lost $1,000 item. This letter, you lost the letter.
He didn't tell him that he's Mechayev Shmir. Okay, that's what happened there.
That's the shayla.
That's the shayla.
That's the shayla. So the truth is Netzach Yisrael Simin Vav. Netzach Yisrael says that the person is pata because he was never mekabu shmira on the letter. He was only mekabu shmira on the sefer.
Why didn't it open Mechaber?
Oh, because the mechaber talks about a case where I tell you that it's kesef, and it turns out to be zav. But there, because I told you lehedge, it was kesef. Here, I didn't tell you that there is no letter in the sefer.
Tell you nothing.
I told you nothing. But the Netzach Yisrael says it's the same type of halacha, that because you assume that there was no letter in there, Memelu, you have a right.
It's like the Ramad Rosh Pshi the Marshal. You should have told him.
Well, that's out. You're
Belvim, I know, but I'm saying
yeah,
but the Marshal is
and he
fair.
compares it to a halach in Tov Yud Chesif Tezvav, that if I give you a mokum, I say you could pile up your godish of chitim in my field, and you pile up chitim, but you cover it over with soirim, which is cheaper. And I thought that you only piled soirim, and then I'm pesheya, and I ruined your soirim, but it was really chitim. I'm going to be part on the chitim because I had a right to assume it was soirim because I saw on top it was soirim. Here I saw a sefer. I didn't see inside the sefer there was a valuable letter. So Mamela, I'm going to be potter because I saw a sefer. I didn't see a letter. I was never makaber shmir on this letter. Once we're on the story of Baisai, there was a famous story. Everyone probably heard the story, but once we're here, it's kedai to say the story over again. Even though you hear the Messiah Trump said certain things are kedai to repeat again and again. Same type of a story. The story was that there was a family who went to Eretz Yisrael for Yontif, went to Eretz Yisrael for Sukkot. They entered a family's house who probably went to America or somewhere else for Yontif, so it was open for Sukkot. And they went to that place for Yontif Kavaldik. Everything Kishmak, beautiful place, Kishmak. And on Yontif, the refrigerator broke. Everyone knows the story, but we have to flesh it out.
We don't know the story.
You don't know the story. The refrigerator broke, and you can't even get it fixed on Yontif. And everyone knows the food can last for 24 hours, maybe if you keep everything closed. It's a 3-day Yontif. It's not lasting. It's not making it. And after a while, the stuff in the refrigerator and freezer started to smell. Everyone smells. If you ever have poultry that's spoiled and rotten, it's mamish smells like a carcass. I don't know what a carcass smells like. I'm a claim, but I can guess that this is what a carcass smells like.
You've had blackouts here in Lakewood.
It smells beyond. So, Beles Breira, this family that was there for Yontif, decided to do the owner a favor and cleaned out and spent hours cleaning out the fridge and freezer and bringing it, schlepping all out the dumpster. It's not easy. You have to walk up and down flights and bringing it out to the dumpster and then cleaning out the fridge and freezer. They did such a wonderful job and great. And then they notified the owners, by the way, we had this problem of a Yontif. I didn't want to share a Yontif, but you should know this is what happened. And we did you a Gvalda Katoiva because you were so nice to us that you lent us the house. We did you a Gvalda Katoiva and we cleaned out the whole refrigerator and freezer. And the owner heard about it. He said, "Are you serious? You got to be kidding me. You know how much money was in the freezer? I store my money, literally cold cash. I store my money in the bags of the poultry. That's where I store my money. Like another would never figure out that that's where the money is. That's where I store my money. There's no safe. We're going to store it. So that's where I store the money. You threw out thousands of dollars. Are you serious?" So Charlotte Rabbi, are these people, these tenants, we'll call them, are these vacationers, chayav for throwing out the money or not? That's the shayla.
Havle Lameda.
This is the shayla. So l'chayra, they were never makabel shmir on the food or the money in the freezer. They borrowed the apartment. We could talk about shayla and karka, but they borrowed maybe even the contents of the apartment that they're going to use, the beds and chveis, the cutlery maybe. They never borrowed the food. They weren't supposed to use the owner's food. They never borrowed the food. They were not shoyals on the food item, and certainly not in the money that's buried in the, instead of stuffed chicken with breadcrumbs, you have stuffed chicken with money. They never did that. They had no idea that they were doing this. They were just borrowing the lot. So l'chayra, they never intended to borrow this. So that wasn't on their Kabbalah Shmira. Besides that, they didn't even make the Maisa Kinyan, and we could talk about that as well, like we discussed before. You need a Maisa Kinyan or a Shtamshis by a Shoyal. Okay, here maybe the Bailam went away, but about Mashtam Ksas, we could go through the whole sugya. But the bottom line is, they never intended to borrow that money. So now the only way you could get them is Atzmazik. Maybe, okay, it's Dalmehoka. So you're not a Shema, but you physically took my money and threw it in the garbage. So maybe you're a Mazik, Adam a Mazik. So that's going to be the same tool like we said before. Adam Mud Lo'ilam is only on a Pshia or Oinus Kain Aveda. This is not an Oinus Kain Aveda. They shouldn't have entertained that there's money in the chickens in the freezer. Mamela, if it's an Oinus Gomer or an Oinus even Kain Geneva, they're going to be part of for Adam Mazik as well. So in which case, the vacationers will be part of for both. So the part of side mitzad Shmira and the part of side mitzad.
And what happens
Adam
if they put
Mazik.
their own food into the refrigerator and the refrigerator broke? So who's chayiv in that?
Who? If the vacationers put their own food?
They were allowed to put their own food in the refrigerator, no?
Okay, so they maybe borrowed the refrigerator, but they didn't borrow.
No, I understand, but the refrigerator broke, so and their food got spoiled, so who's chayiv in that?
Oh, no, the owner's not going to be chayiv for their food getting spoiled.
It's his refrigerator.
So what?
So wasn't he mechuyev to give them a good refrigerator that works?
Let's say I did. And first of all, we don't know if it's a rent or not. So if I owe you a refrigerator, maybe, but I don't owe you for the subsequent inconsequential damage that comes.
That's Pasha, that's an inus?
He knew that his refrigerator is going to broke. It's going to break. He knew that. He didn't know that.
But if you rent an apartment, you are a seicher. Are they mechuyev to give you
So you notify me and I'll give you a refrigerator.
a new one?
I'll give you a new one. I'll get this one
But you're
repeated.
not mechuyev to pay for the
I
food
have
that's
to pay
spoiled?
for the damages?
I don't know.
That's annoying. It was beyond my control. I didn't know that. I didn't know what's going to happen. It's like a drama. It's something that I couldn't even. It's a highness. It's a grama and it's not odom mazik. It's not mazik b'yadayim. It's a grama and it's an highness. How should I be correct? You're right. If I knew it was faulty and I knew it was going to break and I set you up and I caused you a loss, we could talk about it. Maybe a garmi you might see mum and p, but otherwise it's an highness and it's a grama and you're going to be potter. So Rabbi say he has another case that you will not makabel shmira on that money, so mamela you're going to be potter. All right.
I think
1 o'clock.
that's 1 o'clock. Yeah. So if we can go 5 extra minutes till because we're
Yeah, give another
you have a
one.
5 case. You have a 5-minute
You
case.
sure? Another case. Okay.
One more case, Rabbi. So we're going a little bit over time.
One more case, Rabbi.
7:30 tonight will be a chazar share, and tomorrow morning Rabbi Kurtz will be here. Yes.
Okay, one more case, Rabbi Say. Interesting case. Ruvain borrowed Shimon's car. He borrowed Shimon's car. Perfect, no problem. And unfortunately, he got into an accident. Also, unfortunately, that happens time to time. He damaged a guy's car, and he damaged the owner's car. So this borrower now is facing 2 different claimants. He's facing the owner of the car that he damaged his car, and he's facing the guy. Turns out that there was no insurance. No insurance on the car. So to the guy, you can stand on your head, the guy's not taking no for an answer, so he had to pay the guy out. Now is coming time to pay Ruvain. Ruvain's money, or whatever, to pay the owner of the car, Shimon. Ruvain's, the owner of the car is moneying the borrower, you messed up my car, you broke my car. The borrower says, well, you should have had insurance. Everyone has insurance. Who doesn't have insurance on his car? Everyone has insurance.
Collision.
You're mechuyev to have insurance.
But you only mechuyev to have liability, not collision. Right. But it's normal, even if you don't have, but most people have insurance on their cars.
Therefore, what? That's a
So
umdana.
Mamela, had you had the insurance, had you had insurance, I'd be off the hook. Your insurance will pick up the bill. Mamela, you can't come to me to be chayiv. So then the owner of the car said, okay, I hear that svara. I don't agree with this, Rabbi, I hear it, but I have another problem. Is even if you want to go for collision, there's a $500 deductible. So even had I had insurance, you still owe me $500 because that for sure insurance wouldn't have covered. So you owe me at least that $500. You damaged my car, Chutz pay me that. You're a shoyel. God happens to be it was your fault, but even if not, you're a shoyel, you damaged my car, you have to pay me the $500. To which the borrower tined like this. So it's not Meismachas Malacha, because in here he did a Pshia. So if he did a Pshia, you don't have a Ptur Meismachas Malacha. But he tied it like this. Watch this, Rabbi Say. He tied it that, think about it for a moment. Anyone in his right mind would borrow a car that doesn't have insurance? Would you ever do such a thing? You have to be so short-sighted, so foolish. You do such a thing, you're risking tens of thousands of dollars
Of liability.
and liability. There was no insurance at all. There's no like the owner wants to
if
do
you
it.
do
Adama
the-
Baroisha, he wants to commit financial suicide because in die. But if I should borrow a car, I would have borrowed someone else's car. I don't need to borrow your car. I mean, it's nice. You did me a favor. I like your car. But I could have borrowed someone else's car. Had I known that your car had no insurance, you think for a moment I would have risked, because I need to go on this errand across town, I would have risked being liable for hundreds of thousands of dollars?
And therefore,
And if it's a she'ela b'tois, I would never have borrowed your car. There's a halach in the Ramah, Reish Tzadi Aleph Siv Daled, that is a case like this. Shimon accepted Svarim from Ruvain to transport it from place to place over the border. And the assumption was that you didn't have to pay taxes for taking the Svarim over the border. And it turns out that you do have to pay taxes. Meches, and because he didn't disclose it, he didn't report the meches, therefore the goods were confiscated. So the owner of the Svarim say, you owe me for the Svarim that got lost. You're Shoima, but you were Pesheya. You should have reported the meches. And the guy said, I should report him. Nothing doing. There's not a chance in the world I would have ever accepted Shmira to go take it if I have to report. Anyone knows you go to the airport and you have to report message. You know what it is? If you do meches, you have to wait another 45 minutes on the line. You have to shots it up. I don't have time for this. I wouldn't have done it. I'm willing to do your taiva for sure, but not an extra 45 minutes on my trip. You have to schlepping from Eretz Yisrael for a yachekala. No, I'm not doing that, right? I'm wiped out. I'm not doing that. I would have never ever taken your svarim.
she'ela b'tois.
And so the Marik, the Ramah passing like that, it's a shmir b'tois. I would have never done it. If I would never have done it, I'm not a shmir in the first place. So by our car, by the insurance, no one would borrow such a car. Kamat, no one. So if Kamat no one would borrow it, so it's one big she'ela b'tois. So then I'm no longer a shoyel. If I'm no longer a shoyel, you can't get me for anything, you can't get me of anything. My male guy's gonna be part even on the doctor, but he's gonna be part on everything. It's a she'ela b'tois.
Even though the other one would have had also.
Okay, yes, Shakayach, Rabbi Say.